My video for July 19th, 2019 is video number 3151. The title is With Our Creator, Apparently Anything Goes. All my life I have been dedicated to what I thought was a loving God. As I've said repeatedly, I read the Bible through year after year for years, sometimes more than once. My parents and mentors meant well, but they were simply misguided themselves. Virtually all of us have been led astray through the very systems of our education, religion, and politics that have infested this planet with a diabolical interference in human lives. No matter how much some of my friends try to convince me that it's all working as it should, I cannot accept that analysis. I used to think I was pretty smart and had the evidence, or so it seemed. Yet so many things I thought were true could not be verified experientially. To me, without justice and accountability for our actions, nothing makes sense. I do not like existing in a world where anything goes, a world where the most evil people rise to leadership positions. I'm sorry to have my own bubbles burst, and I'm sorry for those who have to experience the same thing. And truthfully, experience is all we have as human beings. And ironically, if karma is true, that we come back again and again and have our slate wiped out so that we don't remember what we learned in the previous lifetime, what good is karma? It's no better than the promise that God is a loving God and really cares for us, which I believed throughout my life. It's why I read the Bible through year after year. It's why I went to church and to spiritual groups as I got older, over and over again. It was my life. It was my very life. But now I'm told that none of it is real. It's all just an illusion. That everybody goes to the same place. When we die, we don't have anything to pay back, or there is no karma really. There's nothing to learn because this is all just an illusion. It's not real, it's fake, it's make-believe, it's a magic show or a horror show, depending on which way you want to look at it. It's not very entertaining to me when I reflect on my life and I say, well, what was the purpose of all of this effort that I put forth? Where I've tried to do the right thing, when I realized I was not telling the whole truth or something, I'd go back and I'd make the correction. And I tried to fix the things that were broken and help people. And then I get people that try to take advantage of me. I had to finally block an individual just recently who kept on asking me to help, needed money, like I'm a rich man or something like that. Now, I am very frugal and I don't spend what I don't have. And I do my best to stay within my means. And it's been a real challenge since they stole my home. That's the truth. And yet, some people just don't get it because there are people in third world countries that have it much worse than me. And the world seems to be run by those who have no ethical values. And they're the ones that rise to positions of power. And there is no justice. They don't have to repent. They just go on to a new life, and everything here was just an illusion, a fabrication, a trick. You know, even if we thought it was good, it was just an experience of playing in a magic show that for some people turns out wonderful and for others turns out pretty bad. And certainly the people that have to struggle, it turns out pretty bad for them. And even in the discussion, It was said that some of the people that are very, very wealthy, they suffer too, but in ways that we don't understand when we're not wealthy ourselves. And some people have been able to gain a lot of wealth, and some people have been willing to share their wealth with others. But oftentimes they end up losing what they've gained as well. And there seems to be so much injustice on a planet where there is no accountability and where even the creator takes no responsibility for those fallen angels or whatever they were that messed with our DNA and made it so that we could not remember from one life to the next the lessons that we were supposed to carry with us, supposedly. And is any of that true? I don't know what's true. I don't know what's real anymore. I used to think I did. And I used to think that we could actually know things. And I thought I knew things. They weren't just beliefs. They were actual experiences where on the one occasion God seemed to light up the room or something lit up the room in the middle of the night and I wasn't dreaming. I was wide awake and I shared it with my aunt and uncle whose home I was in at that time. The very next day, I shared with them what I had experienced. And I've had other experiences throughout my life that seemed so real, but it's just an illusion, I'm told. None of it is real. And we all end up going to the same place, whether we've done good or whether we've done bad. It doesn't make any difference because we're all part of God and we get to experience things. And God is not a loving parent. God is an absentee parent that just stands back and lets us hurt ourselves if we want to hurt ourselves and doesn't even help when someone else is hurting us. Doesn't make any correction whatsoever. Doesn't step in, doesn't interfere. It's a anything goes God. And so we live on an anything goes world. And yes, I know people are saying Donald Trump is turning things around. I listen to the videos that are supporting him and the Christians that are looking at him as God's blessing to humanity. And I'd like to believe some of those things. But I don't trust Donald Trump. I don't trust the system. And sadly, I don't trust God. I even pray for God. I've added God to my prayer list. Yes, I pray for Trump. I pray for Putin. I pray in general for the world leaders and certain friends and family members that I pray for regularly. But as far as God goes, I have to pray for God to take some responsibility. And if that taking that responsibility means awakening us so that we can remember the things that we have forgotten about our own experience, if indeed we've been living for a long time, as I do believe is true. But we need to have active knowledge of those things and not have them wiped away into some forgetful wherever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, is we just forget, a place of forgetfulness. No, we need a place of remembrance so that we can make sense out of the craziness and insanity of the world that we live in, where those that seem the most perverted in this and the most evil rise to positions of power and often abuse those who are innocent, as in little children, and those who are guiltless, as in those that try to do the right thing, as I've done throughout my life to the best of my ability. We need help. I feel I need help. And I don't like the concept that anything goes and that those that do wrong do not have to pay a price for the evil that they've done. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.